Voting is an essential and crucial part of a fair democracy. But unfortunately, a lot of misinformation about voting can flood the airwaves and social feeds, especially during an election. That's why it's really important to be aware of the voting process in the US, particularly in your state. So to help you become a more informed voter, we're going to debunk some of the biggest myths about voting. Myth number 1, my vote doesn't matter. You may be surprised to hear this, but there have been more than a dozen races over the last 20 years determined by just a single vote. In 2017, a Virginia House of Delegates race ended in a tie after more than 23,000 votes were cast. So how did they break the deadlock? By pulling a name out of a bowl. Seriously. This not only gave Republican David Yancey a win, but his party also gained control of the state house. So quite literally, a single vote can make a big difference. Myth number 2, everyone has an equal opportunity to vote. While it's illegal for states to deny the right to vote based on race and gender, this doesn't guarantee equal opportunity. Many states have voting restrictions like voter ID laws and strict registration guidelines that disproportionately affect marginalized communities. More than 200 polling stations were closed in Georgia ahead of the 2018 election in counties with higher poverty rates and significant black populations. So make sure you're well informed about your nearest polling locations and your state's voting guidelines. Myth number 3, once I register to vote, I'm set for all elections. Even after you're registered to vote, it's entirely possible you can be erased from the system, sometimes without your knowledge. In some cases, like when you move, switch political parties, or forget to vote in previous elections, you may have to re-register in your state. So make sure to check your voter status at globalcitizen.org/justvote. Myth number 4, voter fraud is a big problem in the US. You may be hearing this one in the news a lot, especially about mail-in voting. But overall, out of 250 million votes cast in the United States over the past 20 years, there were fewer than 150 cases of voter fraud tied to mail-in voting. Mail-in voting is expected to increase this year because of the pandemic, but it's been around for decades. In fact, 5 states in the US already use the mail-in option as their primary method of voting. But no matter how you decide to vote, if you want to see change, help make a historical impact, and steer your community toward a brighter future, get the facts, get registered, and just vote.